Isaac is Abraham's son because it says Abraham begot him. Men beget their kids. Isaac begot Jacob. Jacob begot Judas. Now, here's where
just to be clear. So you're saying like when it says Abraham begot Isaac, that's clearly saying that Abraham is the seed, had a seed that produced Isaac.
In the Bible, the way it works out, the father begets you, and you are of your mother. When you go to Strong's, there's an active and there's a passive language. So active is when you force it. So the man begets, the man has sex, he forced it. The woman is a recipient of the child. So the child is going to be of her. So, and I'm going to read this thing every time in this genealogy. The men are always of the mother and never the dad. And they always are begotten from the dad and never begotten from the mom. This is the order and this is the pattern. So, and Judas begot Phares.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
No problem, brother. Go ahead.
So
you were going through the begats.
Right.
Begats.
So I got you.
Begats and the ofs.
So we go to 16. And Jacob begot Joseph. Who's Joseph's father? Jacob, because it says he was begotten by Jacob. Now the focal point is on Joseph now. So it's like it's passing the baton from the last name mentioned. So now who is Joseph? Joseph is the husband of Mary, and he is the son of Jacob. That's what we know of Joseph in his own genealogy. He's done. Mary's now mentioned. Who's Mary? Mary is the husband of Joseph, and she is also of whom was born Jesus, who is called the Christ. That's the genealogy. So Joseph don't have any begots, no kids in his own genealogy. It stops with him, the lineage.
Okay, so you want me to go ahead and give an understanding on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if you could pull it up in the blue letter while we're going up there, because you said Jacob begot Joseph, so that means Jacob had sex with his wife to have Joseph, right?
Click the parsing for begotten. You'll see the inflected version of Gen AO, which is Eggenessen. At the top is the Greek passage, and you can easily identify Eggenessen in the red box. Gen AO isn't in the passage, or in the New Testament, anywhere. The verb or action word Eggenessen is in the active voice. The active voice represents the subject, as the doer of the action. Jacob is the doer of the action verb begot. Click on the parsing for born, and you'll see the inflected version of Gen AO, which is Egenethi. The verb or action word Egenethi is in the passive voice. The passive voice represents the subject as the recipient of the action, which is born. In this passage, Jesus is the recipient of the action verb born. Children are born of women only. Jacob begot Joseph and Mary born Jesus.
Now, it says, you said Joseph has no begats with his children.
Nope.
Right? Because it says he begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. Right? Now, I disagree with you. I believe as far as this is still talking about Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born. It is actually proper grammar. Let me go ahead and give my understanding without you kind of, you know what I mean? I kind of let you give your understanding.
I'm going to go on mute.
So Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who was called Christ. Now, you see that word begat there, right in between Jacob and Joseph. saying that Abraham is the seed, had a seed that produced Isaac?
In the Bible, the way it works out, the father begets you and you are of your mother. When you go to Strong's, there's an active and there's a passive language. So active is when you force it. So the man begets, the man has sex, he forced it. The woman is a recipient of the child. So the child is going to be of her. So, and I'm going to read this thing every time in this genealogy. The men are always of the mother and never the dad. And they always are begotten from the dad and never begotten from the mom. This is the order and this is the pattern. So, and Judas begot Phares.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
No problem, brother. Go ahead.
So
you're going through the begats.
Right.
Begats.
So I got you.
Begats and the ubs.
So we go to 16. And Jacob begot Joseph. Who's Joseph's father? Jacob, because it says he was begotten by Jacob. Now the focal point is on Joseph now. So it's like he's passing the baton from the last name mentioned. So now who is Joseph? Joseph is the husband of Mary, and he is the son of Jacob. That's what we know of Joseph in his own genealogy. He's done. Mary's now mentioned. Who's Mary? Mary is the husband of Joseph, and she is also of whom was born Jesus, who is called the Christ. That's the genealogy. So Joseph don't have any begots, no kids in his own genealogy. It stops with him, the lineage.
Okay, so you want me to go ahead and give an understanding on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if you could pull it up in the blue letter while we're going up there, because you said Jacob begot Joseph, so that means Jacob had sex with his wife to have Joseph, right?
Click the parsing for begot and you'll see the inflected version of Gen AO, which is Egen Nessun. At the top is the Greek passage, and you can easily identify Egen Nessun in the red box. Gen AO isn't in the passage, or in the New Testament, anywhere. The verb or action word Egen Nessun is in the active voice. The active voice represents the subject as the doer of the action. Jacob is the doer of the action verb begot. Click on the parsing for born, and you'll see the inflected version of Gen AO, which is Egen Nethi. The verb or action word Egen Nethi is in the passive voice. The passive voice represents the subject as the recipient of the action, which is born. In this passage, Jesus is the recipient of the action verb born. Children are born of women only. Jacob begot Joseph and Mary born Jesus.
Now, it says, you said Joseph has no begats with his children.
Nope.
Right? Because it says he begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, right, who is called Christ.
Right.
Right? Now, I disagree with you. I believe as far as this is still talking about Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was
not
born.
Proper grammar.
It is actually proper grammar. Let me go ahead and give my understanding without you kind of, you know what I mean? I kind of let you give your understanding.
I'm going to go on mute.
So Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who was called Christ. Now, you see that word begat there, right in between Jacob and Joseph. That's Strong's G 1080, right? But if you go further down, the husband of Mary, of whom was born. No, don't click on born. Click on born. Okay, go see that. See that? It's Ganeo. See, that's Ganeo. Go on down. No, since you're there, go on down. Ganeo, and it says of men who father children. Can you back out of it now? That's Ganeo. That word is Ganeo. But now let's go to born, of whom was born Jesus. See that right there? That's the same word, brother. Go ahead and click on it. Of whom was born Jesus. It's the same word, Ganeo. Scroll on down. That's of men who father children, brother. It's the same word. Now the translators in this particular translation chose to use a different word, but it's the same Greek word, genea, beget. So all these begets that you see from verse 1 all the way to verse 16, beget, beget, beget. There's one beget that was translated as born instead of beget. Now, I'm not the translator, but I know there was a team of translators who put this together, but they chose to use a different word for that. But if you go back to the Greek, that's the exact same word as all the other begets that you saw through this lineage, okay? So Joseph did beget a seed, correct?
Emphatically, hell no. That won't work.
That's the same word. That's the same word, right?
So let's go back.
A seed, correct? Okay. So Joseph did beget a seed, correct? So Joseph did all the other begets that you saw through this lineage, okay? So Joseph did beget a seed. Correct?
Emphatically.
The ones I love.
Hell no.
A seed, begets that you saw through this lineage. Okay? So Joseph did beget a seed, correct?
Emphatically, hell no. That won't work.
Put this together, but they chose to use a different word for that. But if you go back to the Greek, that's the exact same word as all the other begets that you saw through this lineage. Okay? So Joseph did beget a seed, correct?
Emphatically, hell no. Yeah, that won't work.
That's the same word. That's the same word, right?
So let's go back and look at it. Okay. Now you said it now, so I'm gonna hold you to this. So you saying when it says born in the Bible, 1080, that means begot all the times?
No, no.
Okay, right. So
I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you that. No, wait. What I'm telling you is the same word that is translated as beget is the same word here that is translated as born.
Yeah, but it's okay. Watch this.
Right?
We're looking at 1080 right now on my screen. It's saying.
So if you disagree on that, that's fine, brother. Let's move on to go deeper into the scriptures. All right? Because I do believe my argument doesn't rely solely on Strong's G1080. You dig what I'm saying?
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you? Look at me, order. Don't you smoke crack?
If your father was white and your mom was black, would you be Israelite?
Yeah.
Where's the Bible say that?
Can you share your screen?
First Chronicles 2, Shishan. Right?
Yeah. Chapter 2.
So this verse is gonna prove that the mother creates an Israel.
Yeah.
First Chronicles 2 and like, would you be Israelite? Where's the Bible say that at?
Can you share your screen?
First Chronicles 2 with Shishan, right?
Yeah. Chapter 2.
So this verse is gonna prove that the mother creates an Israelite.
Yeah.
Okay. First Chronicles 2 and 34. Now Shishan had no sons, but daughters, and Shishan had a servant, an Egyptian. So what does the Bible say this servant is? What ethnicity is he?
He's Egyptian.
He's Egyptian.
Yeah.
Whose name was Jarha. And
Yeah.
Shishan gave his daughter to Jarha, his servant to wife, and she bare him a cow.
Right.
Where does it say that his kids are Israelites?
Okay, so go all the way down. Yeah, keep going down because wait. Let's first establish something. They had a kid named Atai, then a Atai begot. So go down a little bit. Go down.
Okay.
Go right there. 41. Read 41.
41. And Shalom begot Jechemiah, and Jechemiah begot Elishama.
Okay. Do you know what tribe Elishama is from?
It doesn't say here. So
Yeah, in the Strong's, it says the man of Judah.
do you know that? Oh, let's take a look at it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Watch this. Let me help you out.
Yeah, please.
Let's see. 42.
Yeah. No, not 42.
41. 41.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to this one.
Prove to me that E is corresponding to verse 34.
Okay, I got you. Let me just first say this. That outline biblical usage just means the other places where the name is used. Scroll down a little more. Scroll down.
Hold on. The name of 7 Israelites.
Right. All Israelites, all of them. Now go ahead. E right there.
Okay,
E.
so it says,
E.
right, a man for that. Okay.
So it looks like it just got worse for Buddy. You know, that was a typical unbiased sports knockout. But look at Atai begot Nathan and Nathan begot Zabad. Okay, can we find them in 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 5? Being Israel? 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 5. Zabad, the son of Nathan. That's interesting. Solomon officials. Damn.
What do you mean? What's the addition?
Because you said somehow Joseph is the father from that English translation, and like what wording was for it?
No, from the Old Syriac Sinaiticus, that it's been translated into English as Jacob was the father of Joseph, to whom the Virgin Mary was betrothed, was the father of Jesus.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that father thing you're saying, that's not in the Syriac anywhere.
Can you prove that?
Okay, so let me start with here.
Well, no, but can you prove that though? You just
so that's what I'm saying. Like I want to start right here. So
no. I'm saying, brother, can you go into the Syriac Sinaiticus and show me how the word father is absent there?
Brother, are you serious? With all due respect, I can email you some glasses. Mathan begot Jacob. Jacob begot Joseph. Joseph, to whom was betrothed Mary the Virgin, begot Jesus, who was called the Christ. Where do you see Father? But I understand, because the way you're dying in this conversation, you probably are looking at the Father. And I'm looking at you. I see dead people. What Hebrew manuscript did let's say, the old Greek text translate from? What Hebrew manuscript from the New Testament is older than the oldest Greek?
I'm not aware of a single one.
Right, because there's no old Greek, there's no old Hebrew New Testament older than the actual found Greek manuscripts. Like they are the oldest, and as a result, in addition, that Greek manuscript is older than that Syriac as well.
I don't disagree. Okay, and what does the Greek come from?
Nah, the Greek that's the oldest. So the English translation, you agree, is a translation of the Syriac translation, right?
I don't know what. I would assume it was written. I don't know what language it was.
No, I'm saying like Syriac was a translation of the original Greek. Okay, Buddy said he didn't know what language Syriac originally comes from. Buddy, it's in the name Syriac. It's Syriac. Syrians speak Syriac, buddy. But he's supposed to be on my level somehow. So the English translation, you agree, is a translation of the Syriac translation, right?
I don't know what. I would assume it was written. I don't know what language it was.
No, I'm saying like Syriac was a translation.
Hey, this is my brother, Saad. This is Pastor Meach. I'm not sure where he hails from, but we've been having a dialogue about the Immaculate Conception.
Okay, Pastor Meach, what's going on, my brother? How you doing?
What's going on, man? I'm good. How you doing, man?
Well, here's 2 things that I would say. One, when you look at the Greek word for begat, it literally means of fathers fathering children. So all the way from Abraham begat Isaac, Isaac begat Jacob. That word literally means of a father begatting a child. A woman does not begat a child. A father begats a child, number one. Number two, the Papyrus 1 and Papyrus 2. These are the two oldest Gospels, manuscripts of the Gospel of Matthew.
Talking about
Literally
Aleph
say, and you can, I'm sorry?
You talking about Codex Aleph and Codex B?
I don't know if it's that codex, but it's the earliest Gospel of the Book of Matthew that we have, and it literally says, and even in the SICARII Sinaiticus, it literally says in Matthew 1:16, I believe is what it is. And Jacob begat Joseph, and Joseph begat Jesus of Mary, who was called Christ. That's direct quote from the SICARII Sinaiticus, and the Papyrus 1 and Papyrus 2 both say the exact same thing. So the earliest Gospels and manuscripts that we have of the Book of Matthew, they do literally say Joseph begat Jesus.
Yeah, Hassad is really starting to concern me. I'm going to have to email him some glasses. He's seeing things that's not there. All right. Okay, so we're at it. Papyrus 1. And let's go to, here goes, verse 16. Right here. So now, why do you believe this reads differently from the Textus Receptus again?
So when we look at the begat versus was born, are you aware of the inflection and the difference of the active and the passive in the Greek?
I mean, begat means of men fathering children.
Yeah, it has the general meaning, but it has different inflections. So whenever you see begat, that's always the active form of the verb ganao. So active means that the subject performs the action, and the passive means that the subject receives the action. So in the active sense, the father is always the subject. He's the one fathering the children. But when you see was born, Jesus is the subject there, and he's receiving that action. So now you have a change only in the terms of a Christ birth and in no other birth in that narrative. I think that's very important. It stands out, and that's why Matthew has to go on and say, in this way, Jesus was born.
Right. So I guess again we can.
Do you understand the words that are coming out from my mouth?
Get back to the language of the Greek, but I want to make sure that you understand what my question is. So the context is how his brethren are made. It behooved him, Hebrews chapter 2, verse 16, for truly he took not on him the nature of angels. This is the context, how Christ was made.
Right.
That's the context right here. The flesh that Christ came in. He wasn't made like an angel, like Gabriel or Michael.
Right.
He took on him the seed, the sperma of Abraham. Sperm. That's what the Greek word there is for seed, sperm.
3 years earlier, SICARII leader, Guerrilla Hebrew, already stood corrected on this.
So why do you reject the virginal conception and birth of Christ?
When I read the text and, of course, understanding the prophecies, I understand that this all had to happen by the seed of David.
And what does the seed of David mean?
The seed of David means David's seminal fluid.
And how could David's seminal fluid be transferred to Jesus when he was dead 1,000 years before the birth of Jesus?
Well, of course, he had descendants that were created from his seminal fluid, and they had such.
No, you're not listening to yourself. You see, this is the problem I have. You didn't listen. You said he has to be the seed of David, and you said the seminal fluid of David. But now you extended that to the seed of his descendants. That's not what you said. So it's not literally the seed of David, right? It's not literally his seminal fluid, right?
Well, him particularly, no.
So you believe he
what
took
sperm,
on him? So you're
what
saying
sperm was involved to make Jesus then?
You're saying Abraham's sperm was involved to make Jesus?
No, what I'm saying is, well, of course, we know through the Bible, the seed of Abraham just means a actual physical descendant of Abraham.
No, you're not listening to yourself. You see, this is the problem I have. You didn't listen.
Which this is why the Bible goes so far out of its way to establish Joseph as a son of David. But nonetheless, it's sperm.
Mary the seed of Abraham?
Sperm? I'm sorry.
Is Mary the seed of Abraham?
But she doesn't have sperm, so that's not
no. But you said seed means descendant, and I'm asking, is Mary the seed of Abraham?
Sure, but again, seed means sperm.
Okay.
So what sperm wasn't? So hold on. What sperm was involved? What sperm was used to create Jesus?
I'm confused. You just said seed meant descendant. Now you're saying sperm. Which is it?
No, you're not listening to yourself. You see, this is the problem I have. You didn't listen.
It's simple. So he's the descendant of Abraham. It's not literally
descendant.
saying
Descendant.
Abraham
Okay,
sperm,
descendant.
but hold on. I'm gonna answer. A sperm of someone from the descent of Abraham. So what sperm of someone from the descent of Abraham was used to create Jesus?
That means that you're reading sperma twice in there. Sperm is there once, so it's either descendant or sperm.
No, you're not listening to yourself. You see, this is the problem I have. You didn't listen.
Yeah, it's either descendant or
sperm. No, I'm not. It's context. So context will show you, and the Greek and the language will show you. Sperm, the sperma is the word that's used for seed of Abraham. What does it mean to be of the seed of Abraham? What does it mean that you literally came? Like, for example, let me just show you.
It means to be an offspring, right?
Let me show you. Let me show you though, right? For example,
okay.
Let me get
Romans 1 and 3.
No, I know that's probably where you thought I was going, but for example, this is John chapter 8, verse 33.
Perfect.
This is what the Jews said when Christ said, "We shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." And then the Jews responded, John 8 and 33. Then answered they answered him, "We be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man." Does that mean that they are literally saying that they came from the sperm of the literal man Abraham? Well, one, yes, because not literally in the way that they were made did it come from literally the man Abraham, but from Isaac and then Jacob and then his descendants. That's what it means. They came from the sperm of Abraham, and then somebody from the sperm of Abraham's sperm created them. Can we agree?
No, you're not listening to yourself. You see, this is the problem I have. You didn't listen.
Yeah, we don't believe that there was any type of sperm involved with from the inception of Christ.
If he's of the sperm of Abraham, how can you believe there's no sperm involved if he's of the sperm of Abraham?
Because we just qualified that sperma doesn't mean sperm. It means offspring. It means descendants.
Again, contextually, as you just said, in order for you to be of the seed of Abraham, you have to be of the offspring, yes, but then the sperm of the offspring Abraham has to be used for you to exist.
And that doesn't necessitate just because this is how it's been, that this is how it needs to be, especially according to God. This is a work. This is a sign that God said he himself would send. And you said clearly it was fulfilled in Matthew 1. So this is a sign that God himself.
Okay.
All right, start at Matthew 1 and 1.
1 and 1? Okay.
Yeah. Right. This is the book of the generation of Jesus Christ, or Yahushua HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Right. So before I even read this, whose lineage is this?
This is, from my knowledge, this is Joseph's lineage.
This is Joseph's lineage. That's correct, right? All right. So it says, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, right, which sex is marriage, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. Right. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. So Christ is listed as the 42nd member in this line of men, right? And nowhere else in this line of men is there an adoption. Or an adoption. Yeah, nowhere else in this line is an adoption. It's all a list of men, right, conceived through sperm.
So Solomon begot Boaz or Booz, right? So Solomon is the daddy because it says Solomon begot Booz. That's how we know you're the daddy. And then we know you're the mommy because it's going to say Booz of the woman. So it says Booz of Rachab, right? And then it says Booz begot Obed. He's the daddy because he's begetting. And then we know who the mommy is because it's saying Obed of Ruth. Obed begot Jesse, obviously Obed is the daddy. So when we go to verse 16, right? We got Jacob, the last begot. Jacob begot Joseph, and Joseph is the husband of Mary, and Mary is Mary of whom was born Jesus, who is called the Christ. So Joseph in his own lineage don't have any kids, not in Matthew 1. So when you click tools, right, we have the English KG on the left, we have the Strongs, and we have the parsing. Okay.
I understand how the parsing works.
So,
it tells you
so let me ask you this then. Right. So when it says begot 1080, right? This is Ganal, correct?
Okay.
And Ganal just means begot, correct?
Right.
And then we have it concerning of whom was we got but not again, right?
And so what part of speech is of whom?
Of whom is a relative. I said that earlier. Relative pronoun.
You said a relative pronoun. Yes. Does the parsing say that?
Yeah. Watch this. Relative pronoun.
Right. I said of whom. Right. What's the word of?
That's a possession proposition. That's real easy. That shows ownership.
So
right.
So when you have a preposition.
Yeah.
Like this, right?
Yeah.
What does that make this whole clause?
Okay. This makes this statement. It says, look, it says Mary of possession, proposition, belonging to, of whom, relative pronoun. Relative pronoun means that, look, let me click it for you. So look, it's in the feminine. It's not in the masculine for a reason. The genitive, it's in the singular feminine. So basically a relative pronoun, let me click it. A relative pronoun is a pronoun that is used to refer to nouns mentioned previously. So this is the relative pronoun, and the noun mentioned previously is Mary, not Joseph. So this refers to only
okay. So
Mary.
So you're saying, you keep on saying that it's talking about the of whom was born Jesus.
Yeah.
It's talking about Mary.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, so let's say that in theory, right, I gave you that one.
So let's say that in theory, right, I gave you that one.
So let's say that in theory, right, I gave you that one.
So from verse 2 all the way to 16, Jacob begot Joseph. That's the man part in creating the son, birthing the son. All right. So the man would typically impregnate the woman, and then the woman takes over from there. And then the child is born of the woman, born. So that word born is egenethe. It's not egenesen. It's not a begot. It's a born.
Who carries the seed, brother?
What does that got to do with?
What does that got to do with anything we just said? That is so irrelevant.
Wait. I can answer that question, but can you first address what I just said? So born is there, not what you thought it was, begot. Is actually born, like the woman giving birth to Jesus. That's actually there in verse 16 as egenethe. You agree? And then I answer your question.
I see what you're saying, right?
So I'll answer yours then. The male
one is different from the root word. You just discredit the fact that it's the same for the root word.
No,
that's what I'm hearing.
Well, not discredit. We show that there's a distinction.
All right.
There's a distinction of the one giving and receiving the action from the two words.
So
egenethe is never used from father to son. It's always egenesen. So when I asked for a word that connects Joseph to Jesus, you said, oh, egenethe, but that's used of a woman, not of a man. So you would need to show another word. So is this at least now a possibility?
I mean, you showed me First Chronicles 3, and it's there. So I can't say anything about that because I'm not gonna take away from the Bible, right?
I respect
I will
that.
have to look into
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it, and then I'll come back if I have something. If not, then I don't. I agree with the Bible because I don't have anything at this point in time to. But I'll concede to this.
Yeah, let's just flip over to Matthew's 1. I got a couple questions there, if you don't mind, Brother Peace.
Not at all, bro. Not at all.
So when it says Abraham begat Isaac, who's the father of Isaac here?
Abraham.
And what word is letting you know Abraham's the father?
Begot.
Perfect. Perfect. Now let's go down to verse 16. I want you to see something.
Okay.
Verse 16, it says, and Jacob begat Joseph. So here, who's the father of Joseph?
Jacob.
Right. And the word begat lets you know that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then it says the husband of Mary. Who's
Right.
Mary's husband?
Joseph.
Joseph, right? It's real clear cut, right? And then it says of
Yes,
whom was born Jesus. So who's the mother of Jesus?
Mary's the mother.
Mary's the mother. Okay. Who's the father of Jesus? Who's Jesus' father?
Joseph.
And what word lets you know that?
I got you. I'm going to the Strong's Concordance, and I'm gonna show you. When it says born.
Well, just read it. Just read it here before we even
born?
get there. Yeah, before we even get there, though, what word in verse 16 is letting you know?
It's the same
What'd
verse.
you say?
It says was born.
It's the exact same verse, brother.
Was born?
Was born. Yeah, was born.
So okay. So let me just make sure I'm getting this correct. You guys are under the assumption that men give birth?
No, because in the Greek word here is not what you think it is in English. It's going to show you in the Greek that it's something totally different. It's the same word for begot in the same chapter, the same verse. The word for was born is the same exact word for begot.
Okay, guys, just real quick before we get into the Greek, are you guys beginners in Greek, or are you well versed in Greek, like how to read it and stuff? Because I don't want us to have
I'm not gonna say I'm like a beginner, nor will I say I'm like superb with it, but I'm like in between. Like I'm still studying it, so I'm good with it because in order for me to understand, I would say a good percentage of the New Testament, I would have to understand the Greek words, because without the Greek, I wouldn't really get it because it was translated from Koine Greek. So I have to understand Koine Greek a little bit. Feel me? But it's easier when I understand the Strong's Concordance. All I got to do is references the Strong's Concordance, see what words are what, and see the definitions of those words. And of course, context supersedes etymology. So I have to understand the context, the root, the wording, the etymology, and so on and so forth.
One, do you know what inflection is? And if so, can you describe it?
What was the word you said? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that. Say it again.
Do you know what word inflection is?
Enlighten me. That's kind of new. Maybe I know what it means. Maybe I just never heard it in that way. But go ahead, enlighten me, sir.
Okay.
Are you guys beginners in Greek, or are you well versed in Greek? How to read it and stuff?
I'm good with it because in order for me to understand, I would say a good percentage of the New Testament, I would have to understand the Greek words, because without the Greek, I wouldn't really get it because it was translated from Koine Greek. So I have to understand Koine Greek a little bit.
Stop the cap.
All right, so that word for when it says of whom was born Christ, right? That word for was born, it's geneo again.
Stop the cap.
And it says of men who father children, to be born, to be begotten, right? And of course, it also says of women giving birth to children. And the number one definition it has here is of men who father children.
Right,
the number one definition it says there.
Yeah, so do you see the Strong's number, the Greek and the English? Okay, so
I think he's talking about where it says was born,
right?
And then for the other one, it just says begot. That's what he's getting at, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, that's all I'm saying is that was born. The word here is actually, but it says begot.
No. But slow down.
I think I see what I see what he's talking about, Ratazak. But
when you read was born, that word ignithi means was born in Greek. So when they said was born in English, that's the best translation you can use. And when they say begot for egenesin, that's the best translation you can use for that. Ganawa, just a root word. You'll see the was born is never used as begot. It's always used as was born. If you scroll down, it'll show you the English passages that is in. It'll show you all the passages that is in. The one that says 7 times. And that's the one that looks like I-9. So what it's showing you that this is always consistent with was born from a woman. Because only women give birth.
So brother, real quick, we just we brought you guys down here to Matthew 1:16 just to show what the Greek is saying and where we get the English translation, and that it's actually not tying Jesus to Joseph in this genealogy. That's all we're saying. We can go to other places. That's fine. You can object at other places. But before we leave here and go to other places, will we at least concede that it doesn't have Jesus or Joseph begetting Jesus in Matthew 1?
Right, in that verse, yeah, okay. It doesn't say that.